Moldova, of course, was mentioned quite often as one of the beneficiary countries of the OSCE, and we are really lucky to have with us Valentin Draganel from the FIU Moldova. And Valentin, a question to you from the perspective of a beneficiary and a partner institution. It can be challenging to stay on top of developments when it comes to virtual assets and financial crime because things are developing so quickly. So how do you keep up with things? And why is it important to stay abreast of the rapid developments? And can you also explain what are some of the concrete benefits from working with international organizations and participating in international networks when it comes to addressing crypto-related financial crime?
Thank you, Vera. Thank you for the question. You pointed out very well. It's indeed very important to have this understanding. And especially from the perspective of my institution, the Financial Intelligence Unit, I think it's essential to understand the crypto-related financial crime because it's no longer about a future problem. It's already something we are dealing on a daily basis. And even in the jurisdictions where where the legal framework is somehow restricted, towards the crypto service providers, like in Moldova, for example, the risk remains high because criminal actors can still exploit the decentralized nature of these crypto assets and the technology that stands behind them. And they can rely on foreign platforms, underground channels. They can mirror part of their crypto activity through traditional banking system, for example, including through Hawala-style arrangements. They can also move funds across jurisdictions instantly and conceal illicit proceeds in a way that are often very difficult to detect through traditional financial monitoring alone. So for an FIU, this means that we need to understand how crypto asset works and how they are used in criminal activity. And this is vital for being, in order to be able to identify red flags, to detect suspicious patterns, to trace financial flows, and of course, to provide valuable intelligence to the authorities. And not the least important is the ability to provide feedback and important guidance to the reporting entities. At the same time, this understanding is not important not only for the FIU, but for the entire system. From the AML-CFT point of view, it should start from the reporting entities as the first line of defense. And I'm not talking here only about CASPs, but also banks, AMCPs, and any other kind of financial or non-financial reporting entity, regardless of whether they deal with crypto or not. They need to understand how they may be exposed to these risks that are linked to crypto assets. And without that awareness, important red flags may be missed at the earliest stages. In practice, one challenge is that crypto exposure is not always visible at the first sight. For example, a transaction may appear to be ordinary in fiat through the banking system, for example, while in reality it is connected to the purchase, sale, movement of crypto assets. And this is exactly why awareness and understanding of transsectorial risk is so important. The same understanding must continue across the whole institutional chain, to the FIU, to the law enforcement, to the prosecutors, and ultimately to the judges, to the courts. Each institution has its own role in this chain, but all of them need to have a common understanding of how crypto-related crime works in practice. The typologies, the laundering methods, the role of service providers, the use of cross-border platforms, and the way in which crypto assets can interact with the traditional financial system. If this common understanding is missing, the response becomes very fragmented. So in this area, capacity building is not only about one institution. It's not only about the FIU, it's about ensuring that the whole system speaks the same language and can respond in a coordinated way. I would also emphasize that crypto in itself is not a crime. The issue is how it may be misused by the criminals. Of course, crypto can be linked to a broad range of criminal activities. And this includes not only money laundering schemes, but also all types of predicate offenses. Name it. It can be fraud, online scams, ransomwares, drug trafficking, sanction evasions, and any other forms of illicit cross-border financial activity. In some cases, crypto are the main instrument in these crimes. In others, they are used as part of the laundering chain to move the value quickly, obscure the source of funds, or make tracing more difficult. This is why, for us, as an FIU, this means that we need to understand how this mechanism works in practice. And this is exactly where international cooperation and systems become so important, because no institution can build this capacity alone, especially in such a fast-evolving area. International cooperation gives access to expertise, comparative experience from other jurisdictions dealing with similar issues. It can also help strengthen technical, analytical capacities through trainings, workshops, study visits, and practical exposure to investigative analytical methodologies. It also supports a stronger strategic understanding of this phenomenon, which is essential for the risk assessments and the institutional planning and policy development. For the FIU, the support provided through the OSCE project is a strong example how this international cooperation can translate into practical impact. The cooperation has been very operationally focused and structured as a long-term capacity building effort. It included study visits to jurisdictions with significant experience in this field, participation in international conferences, targeted trainings delivered across the entire institutional chain. I would say that an important added value of this support was the free-level training approach, which helped to build understanding progressively and tailor the content to the needs, responsibilities, and the level of expertise of different institutions. This kind of support is particularly important because it helps institutions not only to understand the risk conceptually, but also to develop practical skills, shared understanding, and professional connections needed to respond effectively. And the project also produced concrete results for the FIU, as well as for other beneficiary authorities, including the support for the national money laundering terrorist financing risk assessment on crypto assets, which Erlin mentioned earlier. Also access to blockchain analytical tools, certifications, different types of learning opportunities. And from the FIU perspective, this kind of support is very important because it strengthens both operational and our strategic capacity and supports a more coordinated national response. At the same time, these activities allowed us to become part of a broader international community of experts or networks. This is very important for sustainability because it means that the learning process continues beyond the project activities. Through this community, we can continue to evolve, by exchanging good practices, learning from experience of other partners, and also staying connected to new developments and emerging risks. In such a fast-moving area, but long-term professional connection is extremely valuable. And So overall, I would say that understanding this phenomenon is essential because crypto-related crime is evolving very quickly and affects all jurisdictions directly or indirectly. And the key benefit of working with international organizations and networks is that they help us to turn this understanding into action through knowledge, tools, cooperation, and practical capacity building. And for an FIU, that support is extremely important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valentin, for those concrete examples and highlighting especially the role of international organizations. And it kind of loops back to something Erlyn said in her intervention about international organizations actually being facilitators of collective learning. And I think your example highlighted that.